Hey guys, it's Charla here with Dragonfly Soul Healing. So I just wanted to hop on today and do a little energy update on the full moon, kind of what we need to know about this moon and where we're going and all the things. Last night I went out with a couple of beautiful souls and we went and did a big release. We had a fire at the lake and we just allowed ourselves to release all of this energy. And it's interesting because there's two decks that wanted to come out today for this reading, and the bottom of the deck on this one is the release card. And the one thing that I see is all these flowers here, and it's almost like this laying everything to rest. And that's kind of what we were doing last night at the fire, was allowing ourselves to burn off all of that old and releasing all of these bad habits, the people that no longer serve our highest good, going through a really big forgiveness. This card says the end of a phase or situation, spiritual transformation, and time to move on. And so that's the thing, right? Is this moon, and not only just this moon, but it's like all of the retrogrades that we've been going through over the last month or so has really kind of stirred the shit pot, so to speak, and it really created this need to look at things from a different perspective. And so in this time, we've been really looking at our circumstances, the people that we're holding on to, the places, the situations, all these things are coming to the surface to really make us ask what it is that we need out of life. Now, the first card I got out here is the Eight of Pentacles. And so there's this energy of going within. The Eight of Pentacles is really about that hard work. But when you look at this card, she's got all the things, the candle, the magic, all the incense, everything. And it's about really taking care of self. And interesting enough, the card literally shows the moon phases here. So again, we're kind of being drawn back to this moon energy, and it's in the sign of Aries as well. And so there's this like fiery, passionate energy, and Aries represents the Emperor in the tarot deck. And so the Emperor is really about standing your ground, building that empire, really kind of building those foundations, really. And I feel like that's kind of what's been happening, is in this release, kind of laying everything to rest that no longer serves our highest good, we're able to allow that release to come forth to start building those foundations properly. The Eight of Swords is also at the bottom of the deck. So now we have two eights coming up. And in this deck, you're being shown that what you perceive is going on in your life right now isn't actually what's happening. Because you see here, we don't have this image that's being reflected back to her. So everything that she's seeing right now is actually a false reality. And so where are you living in this false reality where you feel like everything's falling apart, you're tied together, you're bound to a certain circumstance? Where do you feel like you're bound to something? Where's all this energy, these naysayers and these people telling you how you should live and how you should be? Why are we letting this affect us in our waking state right now? Again, that release, needing to allow these situations to kind of just come forward and let them go. Look, the Eight of Wands at the bottom of the deck again. So 3 eights in a row. And so it feels like when you stop allowing these situations to make you feel trapped and stuck, everything just moves at once. And so the Eight of Wands is really about that like fast movement and communication. And it's like there's this energy here wanting to push you into that new direction. And that's why they're like, let it go. There's this grief process that's happening. You see these two horses kind of like embracing each other. And so it's like there's this grief that's happening right now in this release. And it's kind of making you have to be like, okay, back to the drawing board. What is it that I'm really doing in my life? And what is it that I need to connect to allow myself to go forward? And once we start seeing that, what we need to release and let go of, suddenly all these new things start coming forward. Even underneath that release card was the Ace of Air. So the Ace of Swords is brilliant new ideas and inspirations, seeing the truth of a situation, a challenging beginning. And I feel like that challenging beginning was actually Mercury retrograde, because that retrograde really, it brought in a really interesting energy of making us reevaluate a lot of things. And that's kind of the point of Mercury retrograde. But this one was like double timing or something. I don't know, guys. It was pretty intense. How are you guys feeling from that energy? We also have the King of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands coming out here. So it's about like wanting to build that stable foundation and really taking the lead in your life. And so this energy is kind of showing up here today to show you that once we release ourselves from this self-imposed prison, feeling like we're bound to something and everybody's opinions matter in our lives, we start building these more solid foundations where we find more stability in our waking state. You know, the pentacles represent earthly matters, material things. So it's like coming more grounded in self in your life. And that Seven of Wands is like, now you start finding more peace. And it's interesting because the Seven of Wands is usually like an inner conflict with your mind. And in this one, she's like wrapping herself in this energetic bubble and being like, no, I'm above this. I'm going to allow myself to release this, like, all of these thoughts, all of these negative emotions that are coming forth, right? So instead of sitting in this energy, it's about moving into this. How do we find this peace? What do we need to release to allow this peace to come forward? What is being asked to being laid to rest at this time? Because there's some shifts here that are happening for you that are allowing you to go to the next level. And look, the Ten of Earth comes out. A very happy family life, financial security, finding the magic in the little things in life. And so again, it's really about pulling yourself out of these situations where you feel like there's nowhere to go, nowhere to turn, allowing yourself to release these energies so that you can kind of embrace that new passionate creativity. We have some wands coming out here, which is about that creativity and really finding those passions, and it helps find that stable foundation. And so allow these things to come forward. I think there's one more and then I will. Too many. Hang on. We get one more here before we finish up. Thank you. And we have the Unity card. The number 5, which is the Hierophant. Yes? No? Maybe? Traditional viewpoints or methods, spiritual organizations, seek out mentors and like-minded friends. And so I think that's where we're coming into that releasing all these old situations, because it's like there's new mentors that want to come forward. And I recently, it was a little while ago now, but there was something talking about our guides and how we're literally up leveling to a new understanding of life, and with that comes new mentors and new guides. And so what I was seeing is we have to thank all of our guides who have been around us. And I'm kind of like pointing around because it's like we know that they're kind of just always here talking to us, giving us that guidance or the signs and symbols. And so take that moment to thank them all for being here and appreciate them, and then allow them to release, because there's new sets of guides that are ready to come in. Like, look, it's next level stuff. And that's where that release card really comes in, right? Is like we have these energies that are ready to be released so that we can bring that new energy forward. The last card I got here, I love that I waited to pick this one up. That's kind of awesome. The Ace of Fire. It says an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, change your life now. And there we have that moon behind him. And he's ready to take that next adventure and really step into his truth. And so it shows that we kind of start with this really heavy energy of like the moon is asking you to let go and pull out of these self-imposed prisons. And as you do that, you start finding your peace and releasing all of these thoughts and emotions and feelings. And then in time, within, it feels like kind of by Christmas energy, there's going to be like a whole new wave. It feels like we have this kind of around that solstice time. It's like this energy that we are sitting in right now is building up to that next level in December, around that 21st, when that solstice comes around. It's like boom, just like that, we're in another wave. And so with this wave, we need to allow these new opportunities to come forward and take them with that excitement, right? It's about finding that passion. One thing I'm noticing is I'm having to let go of something that I was really excited about for a long time. And as I'm going with it, I'm realizing I'm not as excited about it as I thought I was. And because of this, I'm having to let this go. And in letting go, it's like there's so much more freedom. Look, the 9 of Cups at the bottom of the deck sitting here. There's so much more freedom. It's like all of these things that we're releasing is giving us this ability. You see this treasure chest filled with gold here, again, bringing in that financial stability. Because I feel like this is the next level for a lot of people, where it's like we need this stability. We're climbing the ladder constantly, like trying to find that passion, that creativity. And you know, I push you guys for this all the time, where I'm like, what is it that you're passionate about? Why are you living a life that you're not happy with? And it's in those decisions that this victory comes out. So we got that 6 of Fire as well, victory. Good news is on its way, public recognition or awards. And so there's something really beautiful, like sitting right here. It's literally right in front of you. And you must release this like feeling of being trapped in your circumstances so that you can get to this victory place. And so it's about keep climbing that ladder, keep reaching for that higher timeline to really find your creativity. In this one here, the 5 of Wands is kind of like that competition. There's usually all these boys fighting. And it feels like there's this fight to get to the top of the ladder first, but what these people don't realize is we each get a piece of this creativity, this spark, right? You don't need that whole flame. And so everybody thinks that they're competing to get to the top before this guy, but the reality is we all have our place, we all have our piece of the puzzle, and that ladder isn't a competition. It's literally the guiding light to get everybody to their place. And so release all these expectations that I should be better or faster or smarter or wiser, or I can't read tarot because somebody else reads it better. I have some friends that won't read cards for me because of the way I read cards, they don't think they're good enough, but their messages are just important as mine, as my neighbors, as your friends. And so we have to release that hierarchy and allow ourselves to embrace our gifts and not be comparing to others and how others do things. And so take this energy in. There's a lot of fire energy coming up here, and that's what that Aries energy is about, is like that real like push, right, to get out. And that fire is kind of, it's unpredictable. And so stop thinking that you can make a plan and it's going to go exactly as you plan it, step by step by step. Make the plan, but allow those adjustments to come forward, because that's what a fire does, right? It kind of just burns however it wants all the time. It's never the same. So allow those energies to kind of shift and evolve as you grow and go, because not everything's going to go as exactly as you planned, but it's in those planning and taking actions that things start playing out the way you need. And so if you're flexible, they'll keep growing instead of trying to make it exactly how you think and then you're hitting these walls, right? So I hope this helps, and I will chat with you guys soon. Take care.